Olé, olé, olé. we're away. Who's going to come out on top? Wow, what a save. Oh, he's another one!
What's going on, ladies and gents? We are back, North America red and blue splits. So, as you've seen, it is Mount Panorama tonight. One of the toughest tracks on ACC, about 23 turns of absolute madness. 6.2 kilometers, 3.8 miles long. And tonight, it's a slightly smaller booth, but that's okay. I am joined by Dave Hill. What's going on, Dave? How are we doing?
What's up, Brian? Doing pretty good. Always excited for some Panorama action.
Gotta love some pain, right?
Yeah, you know, I've been watching the practice going on, and just, you know, you feel bad for them, but you love seeing the pinball action going up and down the mountain a little bit, at least in practice. You know, having been there many times, you feel for them, but it doesn't make it any less entertaining to watch.
Yeah, no, that is very true. Much better to watch than to actually go through with that. But we are currently wrapping up practice. We have quali coming up shortly. I'm not going to say it. A certain someone in the chat may have brought up the water word, but we're not going to worry about it. We'll see. We've had a bit of sadness earlier today. If you think that, us as viewers, it's a little fun. But we got qualifying here starting up. Let's jump on to the track. Take a look at chat real quick. Philippa, Blitz, welcome in. Rob gets very happy with the music that we got going for the intro.
Yeah, I gotta say that new the new part of the intro with just the GT3 cars, pretty good. Nicely done.
Oh, I'm loving it. The season 7 intro.
Yeah, it's the hype real.
Yeah, big fan. Big fan. But anyways, we have a few new names out there tonight, Dave. You want to go ahead and list off who we have?
Yeah, we do. Now, I don't know how many of these folks are new to the Sprint Series. I recognize one of them is I think, from being new. But we've got Michelle. What's their full name here? Jacob Michelle. Thomas Pierce. Let's see, who else? John Tracy. James Philbin. This person's not new, but they were not in the first race. But it's Amador, and then DeMarcus Rogers. I think a couple of those are at least new to OOR as well. I don't recognize them at all from last season.
Yeah, definitely some new faces. Love to see it. James Philbin has been in the Rookie Series for a little bit. Good to see him finally moving up into the Sprint Series. But
Yeah.
with qualifying, as it's nice and dry right now, we got a 29 degrees Celsius track. I think that we will most likely see some 2 flats, 201s, and then I'm very curious. Blaine has been searching for a 159 here for about a week, and I wonder if he'll be able to pull that out.
He was flirting with it in practice. I think I saw him down at like a 2-minute 0.1 or 2, I think. I didn't catch what it was at the end, but yeah, he was going very fast.
He's getting there. If he was at a 2 flat 02, then that's even quicker than what I had last seen.
And I think he's still the only Audi, so representing.
Not too much love for the Tings here in North America Blue.
I think people were maybe just a little too afraid this season of the Tings.
Just a bit. So aside from Blaine, do we think that there's anyone else on the grid that could crack into the 59s tonight?
I'm curious about the two Honda drivers, Kenneth Portis and Nicholas Alvarado. I feel like the last couple seasons, the Hondas have done really well on this track, and I have a feeling tonight won't be any different.
Yeah, the BOP is certainly favoring the Honda, but I'm going to say it, I am a big fan of the Lexus now. After the race this week, it's a very quick and stable car, and the stability was there for the entire race. Granted, it didn't rain when I was racing with it, but very quick car, and it has the capability to catch up with a Beamer on Conrad.
So you're a true believer now.
Oh, I'm all in. I was a little half in before, but no, all in at this point.
Let's see. Philippa in chat is saying that the Honda borked here. I didn't see any of the other races, so I don't know how it did.
It's always been fairly quick whenever I see it in the hands of aliens here.
So it looks like we are starting to get some times coming through. Currently, P1 is Thomas Pierce with a 201.06. Kenneth Portis in P2 with a 201.2. Tommy Kogan with a 201.4. Those are our current folks in the 01s.
See what Victor pulls out. P14 currently with a 204.4. That's on his first proper lap. See if he can drop that down into the 203s, 202. Once he starts to get a little bit more pressure in those tires. Jump on board with Thiago here. See what he can crack out from his out lap. The Lexus GDI, BMW, and Honda are the meme Conrad top speed cars.
Oh, I don't think we've got any GDRs in the blue split this season.
No, I don't believe we do. That's the
Such
Nissan
sad-
has gone extinct.
That's sad. Rob must have died a little on the inside without having it around.
Whatever will he do?
Well, I guess he's just gonna have to join the Sprint Series and rep his favorite car.
There you go. He sees you thinking of him in the chat there. So Kenneth Portis
Sweet.
cracking in with the fastest lap currently. Go ahead, Dave.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, Ryan. You beat
I
me
stole
to it.
your thunder.
That's okay.
So we'll sit
Somebody
on board
has
with
to do
Thomas
it.
Pierce until he crosses the finish line. Curious to
Oh,
see
we
if he
did.
can better his time.
We did have another person crack the twos. Jacob, I'm assuming Michelle. If it's pronounced differently, please tell me.
Good God, do you see how close that is? All right,
Yeah,
tenths,
definitely,
hundredth, 9
Very
thousandths.
close.
9 thousandths away from Kenneth Portis. Yeah, Blitz, Godzilla is extinct for North America Blue.
I think
For
the
this
red
season.
split maybe has one, three.
Maybe.
There are three. Yeah,
Maybe.
three folks in the red split.
Looks like a bit of a slower lap there for Thomas Pierce. We'll let him get another lap in, and we'll check in a little bit. I'm gonna go to
Yeah,
car.
he can sense that you're on board. Get a little nervous. Oh, got a new pole setter here with Bruno Fabiano setting a 2:08.
Just saw that come through. That is wicked quick.
Pretty cool. 0.888. Consistent.
Very, very consistent. All right, let's see. Car number 84, they're coming around here. Kenneth Portis, see if he can pull out better his time. And he does. Lots of zeros in there.
Yeah.
2 flat 0.6.
Up 3/10 from where he was in the last one. If he can keep that going, maybe he will. Well, I don't know if he's got enough time to potentially crack the 2-minute mark, but
This will be his last lap. We'll have to see. It looks like Jacob Michel jumped up another position as well, taking it over from Bruno Fabiano with a 2 flat 0.7.
Looking in chat, it looks like Philippa thinks that the McLaren has no business being up at the top.
No, I agree with her. I don't think it feels fast around here. But
Well,
I'm also not the biggest fan of it.
Somebody should go tell Jacob then, because he didn't get the message.
You're too fast, Jacob.
It's too furious.
Nicholas Alvarado.
Same thing. Just keep going.
Nicholas Alvarado crossing the start-finish line there. 2 flat 0.4. So we'll take our fastest lap of the session currently. Curious to see what he's at right now. Kenneth Portis, that is.
Currently a Honda front row.
It's got a hell of an ironic name, the Sausage Curb Racing. So when you said we had a lot of wind before, taking a little esports line, what was it at previously?
Yeah, it was at it was 12 kilometers an hour during practice, so it has dropped down quite a bit.
Got it. Very curious to see what happens here going into the race. So for tonight's race format, we do have a 60-minute sprint, kicking it old school. So it'll be the 1 mandatory pit for tires. You can also refuel at that pit stop too. 60 minutes of mayhem.
Take like a brief 30-second break and try and calm down after, gripping your wheel so hard going up and down the mountain.
You really only get the slight break at Conrad, and then after Hell Corner going into Quarry Bend.
Up the track map.
The Lexus Legends, driven by Trevor Hilligans. With the team, I wish it was a Supra. I don't disagree with that. Supra would be pretty fun to have in here. Trevor does better his time. He jumps up 2 positions to P11, knocking on the door of the top 10. Someone's going to say hi to the wall over there, off of Hell Corner. Looks like Renato Dornelles just misses his best time by a few hundredths. As he ports back to the pits.
Did you see how close Alvarado got? 2-minute 0.2.
Very close. Not quite. Not yet. Possibly with North America Red. But regardless, still very quick. Let's see here. Looks like we got some sunshine for North America Blue.
Oh, and the wind died right down.
Very quiet.
Bummer.
But if the weather won't get you, the track will. That's guaranteed.
Is it the track or the other drivers?
Definitely the
Combination?
track. Perhaps a combination.
Yeah. So we've got 33 cars tonight. I think that's more than what we had last week. Everybody wanted to show up for the mountain.
Gotta love the mountain. Such a legendary track.
Yeah, we had 28 drivers last week.
All right, chat. What is the toughest corner that we have here at Bathurst? What do you think, Dave? What would you pick out as the toughest corner that we have here?
I would say turn 1.
Turn 1 is
or
very
turn
tricky.
2, or turn 2. I feel like turn 2, if you don't hit that, like, if you don't kind of get hooked in on that, like the slant of the track on the inside and go around, you just lose so much speed. Like, I feel like positioning there is really crucial.
Yeah, some of the curbs here are much larger than anticipated. Certainly Hell Corner being one of them. Oh, but other than that, I would say Forest Elbow.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, definitely. That one's really tough too. You got to get close to the wall but not hit it.
It's only taken me about 6 months to get that turn proper.
Last season, I joined in on the track walkthrough, and is it Madsen? Sean Madsen?
Yeah. Yep.
He was doing the walkthrough, and it blew my mind how close he could get to some of the walls. And there was like at one point, what turn was it? The Dipper, maybe?
Yeah, right before it.
Where he had his wheel turned, like he had it turned so far to the left, but it was because his front tires like fly off the track there, and then as soon as you land, you're able to kind of like stick the turn and get around. But after watching him do it, I was like, I don't know how he did half of this.
Yeah, no, as Philippa says, Sean is the Honda master. Dude is an absolute beast behind the Honda.
It was very, very impressive to watch him go around and you know, like talk you through the whole track. I think it took like an hour, but it was good. It was really beneficial. Up until that point, I had never done particularly well here. Was always kind of nervous to race here.
I was at first, and then the more that you race it and you get comfortable, I think you just accept some of the sadness that does come along with the track. But
Yeah.
Overall, incredibly fun. It's such a roller coaster once you get past Skyline.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to race around.
Absolutely. Should get some very quick racing here, as we do have sunny skies at Mount Panorama, with Mr. Nicholas Alvarado leading the pack, followed by Thomas Pierce, Kenneth Portis, and Jacob Michel. Bruno Fabiano wraps up the first 3 rows of the grid. No, I believe I said Conrad. Said it now, at least. The Conrad Straight. Yeah, I definitely said Conrad, but we're gonna ignore that fact. It's Conrad.
Well, we're trying to.
Car Ramrod.
She's not gonna let you ignore it.
Nah, that's all right.
That's okay.
All right, and we are coming around from the chase, headed down to Murray's Corner, and then we gonna get this show on the road, waiting for the green lights.
You can call the start there, buddy.
If you say so. Let's take the helicam here. Alrighty, some VTEC power taking up the first spot on the grid as we wait for all the cars to get onto the straight here. Waiting for green. We got green, 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 and it looks like Thomas Pierce got a better start there, trying to take the outside line, but Nicholas Alvarado keeps it on the inside, and then it looks clean. I'm going to say it. I said the C word. It's clean. Everyone is through Hell Corner. Nicholas Alvarado still at the pointy end, building a bit of a gap between himself and Thomas Pierce right behind him in the Honda. Once again, VTEC Power in first 2 spots on the grid. As we make our way up to the cutting, this is a very difficult turn here, especially with crispy tires. We'll have to see if everyone can make it through, as we do have a gaggle of 30 vehicles moving up the mountain currently.
We did have one driver teleport to the pits, DeMarcus Rogers, and he's still sitting in the pits.
Ooh, it looks like we had a Porsche, the blue Porsche there, tap into the wall a tiny bit. Oh, we got a Porsche around. Is that Tommy Kogan? That is Tommy Kogan. And it looks like potentially Brian Rasco was the one that tapped the wall there. Curious to see how much damage he's going to have on his car.
And we do have a safety car, it looks like. Dave Hassar still spun around. Sorry, Hasser. Force a habit there.
Oof, yeah, it's not looking pretty. And he spun right around at the cutting where we said it would be quite difficult. So yeah, car 667 is on the grid. That's the safety car. As Dave said, we do have a safety car. And this race will get restarted. Look, Philip, it's either way. It's Conrad or Conrad, and it's just going to happen. I'd say it's a good 50-50 chance on calling it Conrad.
Ryan, you can call it whatever you want.
All right. The whiskey straight. It's the man's name. You have to accept it. It's Hasser, not Hassar.
Still, a season later, and we're still talking about it.
Yep. It's still fresh.
I think it'll be a topic of conversation for, years.
So it's safe to say that Thomas Dagg's car is absolutely wrecked.
Yikes.
Did you see that?
I did not see what happened. I'm gonna go check the replay and see. I mean, clearly he ran into something.
I think he kissed the wall.
Yeah, just a.
the ginger kiss.
Yeah, definitely.
We are on board with Ben Keogh, Core Racing. He is in that fancy looking Aston, 4-screen in the gold metallic touch. Love it. Classic look. Rules say no pitting under safety car. Sometimes the rules do vary, but I do not know what the race director said tonight. Alright, so let's take a look. Top 2 are still the same. Nicholas Alvarado and Kenneth Portis in the 1-2. Thomas Pierce at 3. Bruno Fabiano at 4. Blaine Hall at 5. Top 5 look like they made it out pretty clean out of lap number 1 shenanigans. Followed by Renato Dornelles, Jacob Michel, Austin Carpenter, Aloy Aikai, Ben Keogh wrapping up the top 10. And everyone's taking the esports route as we get through Skyline.
So it looks like Thomas Dagg ended up hitting the side of Tommy Kogan as he had spun around.
Oh, so it was a bit of sadness on both their ends.
Yeah, so Tommy had already been spun around, and then Dagg hit him, and then the wall afterwards.
Yeah. F in the chat for our boys there. Yeah, be mindful. They are not ghosted. So whenever we have a safety car, if you hit someone, there will be a collision.
So looks like Dagg is out of the pits. I don't know if he'll be able to catch up before they get back to green.
I think he could potentially get down to Conrad. We'll get down to the Conrad straight.
Sounds better as Conrad, you know?
Let's take a peek, Mr. Dag, as he makes his way through the S's and then eventually Dipper. That is a fun bit of track right there. The S's and the Dipper.
I feel like that's always the part where, like, I have white knuckles the whole time.
Once you get into the rhythm, it's not too bad. But it looks like Nicholas Alvarado is going to control the race restart pace, and they are off again going into Hell Corner. They're going single file right down the home straight into Quarry Bend. Let's take a look.
Why does Filica keep spelling out Conrad?
She wants me to say Conrad.
No, she spelled Conrad. I'm being an ass.
No. Got Nicholas Alvarado's second visit through the cutting. See if we can check everyone makes it through. Go on board with Trevor Hilligans, the Lexus legend. So far, so clean. Everyone's single file through the mountain. Looks like the race restart helped a tiny bit. And Thomas Dag not too far back now.
Yeah, not too bad at all.
No, granted, tires are going to be a bit cooler since he did have to pit, but making his way through the cutting now. And as we've seen, sadness does generally ensue with the mountain.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Even more so with cold tires.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know if someone just wants to, you know, give the wall a little peck. Starts bouncing around like a pinball. Things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of mid-engine power at the front of the pack right now. With the exception of Bruno Fabiano and the Porky Boy. Making their way through Murray's Corner here. And turning into a bit of a hot lap session. And you can get that with the safety car resets. Yeah, Virtus, no GDIs tonight.
Morning, JP.
Let's jump on board with Trevor Hilligans. About half a second away.
Looks like everybody's spacing out pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't focus on Trevor. Gotta be careful.
My boy! Blaine got by
I feel guilty
Dornelis.
from last season.
We got Blaine moving up in the pack here slowly.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice livery on that car.
I love it. Pretty in purple. Curious, did he go down to first? No, second. Okay. First in the Audi is an absolute nightmare. It's way too short.
I feel like all of them are too short.
Not all of them. The Aston first feels pretty good. Feels decent in the Lexus. And it's not terrible in the Beamer either. But I don't think anything will take the cake as being awful in first as much as the Audi R8 GT4. Just an absolute nightmare.
I don't think I've driven that one.
It's about 10 miles an hour, so you step on the gas and you immediately have to shift to second.
Short shift.
Mm-hmm. You can start in second. Pat and I found that out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Take a look at the back of the grid right here. Let's go on board with James Philbin, debutant to the Sprint Series this year. Season. Rocking the same crispy livery that he has since rookies. James' last lap was a 2:05 flat. Relatively quick driver. Curious to see if he can dip his toes into the 204s, 203s. But it does look like he has a tiny bit of damage on that front bumper.
So many Astons everywhere.
Mm-hmm. This is our Aston split. We got Virtus saying that first in the GDI is useless and just for burnouts.
I think Rob has also said similar things about it. I don't think he ever uses it.
Just a doormat for second gear, that's all. Blaine looking to take a peek, and he launches himself on the outside there.
Oh no.
Taking the esports line going into Murray's corner, and he does lose a few positions. My assumption, P9 potentially, as he rejoins. And it looks like he's going to take his pit stop now. Interesting.
Interesting. Wonder why.
We'll have to see how that plays out for him.
It's a hell of an undercut.
Jacob getting a little squirrely there through Hell's corner. Falls back a tiny bit behind Renato Dornelles. Renato knocking on the door of Bruno Fabiano now as well. See if he's going to take a peek, at least through the cutting. I'm not sure if he'll get past him here, going into the quarry bend. No, it looks like he does lose a bit of pace and quite close.
Oh. Did he get... Did they touch?
No, that was close. Jacob Michel coming in like a rocket there. Let's go on board with Jacob. He dropped his big gulp.
So I just did a replay and went to the
what
bonnet
a
cam.
save! You did?
Yeah, for Jacob, he got real close.
Yeah. Jacob just saved it right there going through Skyline. Got quite squirrely. Getting even closer right now behind Dornelles. Some hot action. Looks like Kenneth Portis is falling off at pace. I'm not sure what's going on here. To see how it plays out. Looks like Kenneth dropped a few positions from the top two that he was at before. And as you can see in front of Kenneth, Bruno Fabiano and Thomas Pierce battling out for second. Looks like Renato got a fantastic toe. He is going to take that position over from Kenneth Portis. Kenneth might lose two here. Jacob Michel poking his nose in as well. Dropping 2 spots. 46 minutes into the race, almost 3/4 of the way. Sorry, a quarter of the way through the race. And then, where did Blaine end up? Blaine's currently sitting 27, but he got his pit out of the way.
And Kenneth Portis just went into the pits as well.
Must be a strat. Get it done with early.
It's a long time to worry about tires.
I would say 45 minutes, as you know, with the endurance race, 45 minutes is a good cusp when you can still get some optimum grip out of it. Last few laps, you'll start to feel a bit squirrely, but 45 minutes to an hour, generally what these tires can last on decently.
Looks like Dave had a penalty come through. I didn't catch what it was.
A 10-second penalty? I thought that we were connected with race control. I suppose not.
I will go check the penalties channel here.
Got Jay in chat saying that Blaine has tons of clean air right now. What is his gap currently?
So Dave, it's a 10-second penalty for a collision on lap 1. So potentially what maybe spun Tommy Kogan around?
Maybe. That was at the cutting. So potentially. Making our way down the Conrad Straight. And that must be a blue flag that we see, the teal Ferrari there. Can't get a number for him though.
I think that's BC, isn't it?
Yep, it looks like it. Aldolfo there.
Yeah, the 999. I think they were maybe part of that sadness on lap 1.
Yeah. James Philbin quite close to Andrew Graves here. Battle of the Astons. It's where you toss the manufacturer team away and you say, nope, this is my race. Looks like Andrew's going to go a bit wide, bonking off the wall. James taps the rear left quarter panel a tiny bit. He will ultimately take that position. Looks like there's some traffic behind them.
Oh wow, yeah, it's definitely a gaggle.
Yeah, we got 3 Astons and what looks like a Porsche. Is that Flavio potentially? No. It is a battle of Astons, 4 Astons all in tow. So James Philbin is now up to P17, Coffin Flop Racing. Looks like his best lap is a 204.4. All about survival right now. Take what positions you can and don't crash.
And Nicholas Alvarado currently has a 7.3 second lead on P2.
Monstrous gap right there.
Definitely pulling ahead.
Yeah.
We did have another penalty come through. This one is involving John Tracy with a 15-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 2.
Oof.
Yeah, that hurts.
So it looks like Nicholas Alvarado's best lap is currently a 2:08. And then for Thomas Pierce, who's in P2, and Bruno Fabiano at P3, Thomas's best is a 201.9, and Bruno's is a 202 flat.
So kind of curious what happened with Kenneth Portis, like why they ended up, dropping back so far.
Yeah, I'm not
clearly
sure.
Lost some speed.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see if the strategy works out for all of these guys doing such an early pit.
Yeah, very curious. Let's see. Blaine Hall is up to P25, so he's moved up 2 positions, it looks like. He is currently in front of Kenneth Portis. Kenneth is roughly just under 10 seconds behind. And Blaine is cutting the distance from Garza, and he is now 25 seconds behind. I'll check back in a little bit. Bruno looking squirrely. Looked like he was jumping around a tiny bit there. Making his way through the S's here. Just tap, tap, tap the brakes. Tap, tap, taparoo. What technique do you take through the S's there, Dave?
So for me, I start downshifting kind of towards the top, and just try and use the gears to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always like the oh shit moment where you're like, I'm going way too fast and I need to use the brakes. But that's my goal. Is I try and just let the gears do the work as best I can.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
A little bit of engine braking, and then so slight brake at the top, go down to 4th, brake again in a straight line going into the second turn on the S's, go down to 3rd, and then heavy brake going into 2nd.
Yeah, I think that final turn is the one where I do a lot of braking.
Mm-hmm.
Many a times have I gone too hot and shot across and hit the wall on the other side.
Yeah, if you have the grip, it's incredible the amount of time that you can save just by engine braking, slightly tapping on the brakes, carrying enough momentum through these turns, and using the elevation to your advantage. So for instance, right here going through the cutting, it is difficult, but going uphill and then trying to hug the inside of that turn.
But it pulls you around if you can get in that like little slanted section.
It does, but it's just such a finite point, because if you miss it, you're going wide and there's no stopping you.
Right, exactly.
And those curbs can be hellish as well. Looks like Ben's taking it safe through the S's and Dipper, making his way into Forest Elbow. Ooh, getting a little squirrely. Gets it back under control. Decent exit. A bit slow there.
Whenever my car gets squirrely and I try and do that like quick wiggle of the wheel, it never works out as well as it does for these guys. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
It's something that you just pick up and it becomes natural, I suppose, right?
Yeah. We did have a car go off track. It looks like Gabriel Marsan had messed up at the end of, was that the Mountain Straight?
The Whiskey Straight.
Yeah, whiskey. Oh, he went way off track into the dirt. I didn't catch what happened, but
He may have tapped a wall there. It looks like he's got a bit of front end damage.
oh well. I mean, the hood's not flapping, so he's okay.
It's, yeah, that's fair. It's just
Yeah, right.
bashed to shit everywhere else. Looks like Trevor has jumped up a few positions, taking P10. Best lap is a 2:02.4. Last lap was a 2:02.8.
You can't say his name. You gotta be like car number 538.
Yeah, car 538, Trevor Hilgans.
Damn it, Ryan.
The Super Wisher.
Is he the only Lexus in this split?
It looks like it.
All right.
He is indeed. Repping the Lexus. And the battle for the top two, well, for second right now.
Ooh,
Thomas Pierce
Marsan
falling back a
just
little bit
went off
further.
the track again.
Did he?
And teleported back to the pits. Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas Pierce about 11 seconds behind Nicholas Alvarado now. Nicholas Alvarado pulling away very quickly.
So I feel like this is kind of like in line with what I was saying at the start, where in North America we've seen the Hondas do very well here, and you know, just really fine driving by Alvarado to pull ahead and just stay there.
As is tradition, I believe last season he took P1 or P2 as well.
I think so too. So we've got another penalty coming through. This is for Jacob Michel. 10-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 10.
Currently have 3 Astons in the top 10. Austin Carpenter at P5, Renato Dornelis P6, and Ben Keogh topping out the top 10 of Astons at P8. Nice little gaggle here, but other than that, quite spaced out, especially after that race reset. As you can see on the left side of your screen, it looks like Lynn Nickerson is also quite close to Jeffrey Amador. We'll check that battle here shortly. Taking a look back at Brian Rasco and the Porky Boy, number 135. Oof.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a bit of sadness there on Brian's part. He might be teleporting to the pits after that.
Glad the replays are working on my computer.
Yeah, that is not good.
Ooh, man. He's still trying to go. That's out. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Done, I think. Yep.
Commentator curse. It happens.
Yeah, as soon as you said his car number and name, boom.
Who do we have taking the esports line there? Is that Alloy? No.
Esports.
Austin Carpenter P5 being trailed by Renato Dornelles. Scary man to be followed behind by.
Yeah, I think we touched on this last week too, where we always know Dornelles is he's a very fast driver, and it's gotta say something when he's behind you, making his presence known, and it's got to be a lot to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not afraid to make it close.
No, as you could see, it looked like he was going to attempt to yeet himself around the outside there through Quarry's Bend, and then getting quite an exit going through the cutting. Austin doing a good job sticking his elbows out, though, and keeping him at bay. Because I would say about 50% of this track is not conducive to pass in. Especially once you get to the top here. Going up to Skyline, and of course going down through the S's, Dipper and Elbow. The best chance would be going through Elbow into Conrad Straight. And then of course from there up to Quarry Bend. Go ahead, Dave.
Quick trick to the chat here, Turner. The kind of light bluish car that you saw, I think, was Adolfo BC. Similar color to Dag, but BC is a back marker, where Dag, it looks like, is still on the lead lap.
See, it looks like Renato's going to try and poke his nose up here to get around Carpenter. And they're going to go side to side, and it looks like Renato's going to take that position over. Alloy Ike trying to capitalize on this battle as he's creeping closer as well. But unfortunately, the Bentley is not the strongest on Bathurst.
It's too chunky, I think.
A little bit, but it looks like he had a hell of an exit. He's going to pass Austin Carpenter going into Hell Corner. Carpy is going to drop 2 positions going into lap 14. That was an excellent pass by Alloy Ike there.
It's a pretty nice livery on that car.
It's crispy.
I like the orange. Yeah, looks good.
I agree. So we'll stick with this battle for a little bit. And we'll take a peek around the grid, see how everyone else is faring out. Check in with Blaine Hall, currently P20. And he is trailing behind Takis Weeks.
Turner, I think the black and red Aston is Andrew Graves.
I am very curious to see if Austin is running into grip issues with his tires, as he has not pit yet. And Ben Keogh is knocking on his door now as well. So that's 2 positions. If he loses it to Ben, that'll be 3. But it looks like doing a fairly good job sticking his elbows out. We'll have to watch down Conrad, see if Ben gets a better toe. Did I say Conrad?
Probably. Do you ever pass going down the mountain?
Yes. Depending on the car that you have, Beamer is good at passing down Conrad. The Lexus is good at passing down Conrad. And then I believe Philippa said that the... Oh, what else is good here? She said it was the odd BOP. The GDI and the Honda. So yeah, Nissan's pretty quick down the straight. But aside from that, these cars are fairly equal, Aston on Aston. So it will all be about the toe coming out of Force Elbow. But last lap for Austin was a 2:04.2. And for Ben, it was a 2:03.2. So a second quicker on his pace. Ben may have a chance to break away from Austin on this lap here. We'll have to see how close he can get. See the moves that they can make around the cutting here. Looks like he has a better exit. Slowly creeping up on Austin. About 3/10 away. Not sure if he had a bit of contact with the wall or if it was the curb and just the car bouncing off.
Yeah, it looked like maybe he got a little bit too much of the curb.
It did, didn't it? So we go through the S's here. It looks like Ben is having an excellent exit here. See if he can carry the power through Dipper. Austin pulling away slightly, but not quite enough. See if he gets a decent exit. And he does. It looks like Austin has a better exit between the two Astons we're watching here. Through Conrad Straight. Very interesting. Helion, how are we doing?
It's the gap currently up at the top.
14.7.
14.7. Wow.
Let's take a look in at our race leader. Still hasn't pit yet. 27 minutes remaining. I imagine that pit will be coming soon. Oh my god. His best lap is a 2 flat .861. His last lap was a 2 flat .867. So this man is running quali speed right now.
Yeah, very, very impressive. So he's getting ready to pass another back marker here.
Yeah, it looks like John Gray in the Aston right in front of him.
What an awkward spot to get a blue flag.
Oh, you can't. There's no way that you can move. Once you get to Conrad, you can move away. Conrad Straight. But
Right.
aside from that, you just have to keep your line. It's too dangerous. So Nicholas will take that position and have a bit of clean air for about 2 laps, depending on when he does choose to pit. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's jump down to Takis Weeks. Looks like he is 2/10 away. Blaine Hall at P16, so he's moved up 4 positions since we last mentioned him, I believe 2 laps ago.
Car 19 just went off, it looks like, and they teleported to the pits.
So that would be Lynn Nickerson. That's another 2 positions for this gaggle here. Thomas Dagg will take P10, Takis Weeks moving up to 11, and Blaine Hall to 12.
Pretty nice recovery drive for Thomas Dagg. You know, getting taken out on the first lap.
Excellent. Well, Dagg and Hall together both had to make up that time. As we saw, Dagg was behind the pack on the safety car reset. But yeah, excellent job by those 2.
I was wondering how Tommy Kogan was doing, but it looks like he dropped out. He was pretty far back. Must have had a lot of damage.
Yeah, he had a very bad accident there in the beginning. Interesting. I I expected the Audi to have a bit of a better toe, but these two seem fairly equal going down Conrad Straight. We'll have to see if the agility of the Audi will help going around Murray's corner here. As we have a car going into the pits there.
I saw car 99 teleport to the pits.
Perhaps add a bit of sadness on the mountain. That'd be Jacob Michel.
Yeah, I'm doing a quick replay here, trying to see what happened to him. Oh, looks like he just decided to pull over. No incident or anything, just pulled over into the grass and teleported.
Well, hopefully everything is alright. You never know, we had some hardware issues in week 1. Ben Keogh's direct drive wheel ended up disconnecting for some reason. And he said that he had absolutely no input. I had talked to him about it a few days ago. Very unfortunate.
So it's possible that maybe Jacob Michel decided to teleport back. He did get another penalty. He had 20 seconds of penalties.
Bit unfortunate. You can see that little red flag there. So we have James Philbin, who has yet to pit. Currently in P18. Oh, he's in the pits right now. Would you look at that?
Would you look at that?
The irony.
Something happened to car 11. I see them lit up yellow. Gabriel's been having some real trouble this race. I feel like we've seen him off to the side quite a few times.
Yeah, that's not the best spot to be.
It looks like this time he just pulled over on his own. I didn't see any bouncing or pinballing.
It's your man.
Trevor, no! The lawn was already mowed there.
Had a bit of a long patch of grass there. You had to take care of it. So we are at 22 minutes left in this race as Trevor Hilligans comes across the start-finish line straight, going into Hell Corner. And he is 2.8 seconds behind Ben Keogh. So I know if I were him, I would be hoping that the battle between Blaine Hall and Ben Keogh will slow them both down and give them a bit of clean air to catch up. Looks like we nearly had a bit of side-by-side action there. And I believe that is a lapped car. I don't see a number. Who's the cotton candy mobile?
Looks like maybe Gabriel's calling it quits as well. Teleported back to the pits.
Very difficult track. It's hard to bounce back from. Quite unfortunate.
No, Dag's currently up at P3, Turner. And he's already got his pit in, so see where he ends up. Maybe the crazy well, I mean, he went in for the damage, but you know, some benefit there to being able to pit during the safety car.
Yeah, absolutely. Did he did take care of his pit stop after that, right? So we have Nicholas coming up on Adolfo BC. And very much a hot lap session at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Got Timothy Flamger, the Maniac Mavericks. Trailing behind Kenneth Portis. Kenneth Portis not having a decent race tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm like I said, he definitely had some sort of issue early on. Had to do the early pit, but I mean, he's picked up quite a few spots, I think.
Yeah.
Still 20 minutes to go, but I think everybody has done their pit, so
I mean, this is
gonna
a
have.
very, it's a very quick grid, so at least half of it is running times in the 202s, and the low 202s for that matter. So Timothy Flamger, who we're currently on board with, his best lap is a 202.2. So there's a lot of speed to be had throughout the top group here.
So Nicholas Alvarado's last lap is his best time so far, a 2 minute .47.
He's quick. He wants that 59.
And if you get a second, take a peek at all the paint missing on the front of Pierce's car.
Let's take a peek.
Yeah, it's definitely missing some paint.
There's just some battle wounds, that's all.
Looks like Dag is going into the pits a second time.
Unsure why that is. Is he stopping?
He pulled in, so maybe he needs fuel or tires, both. And, you know, it's pretty spread out. He might be able to get out relatively, you know, get out in a good spot.
If he's stopping, I would imagine between possibly Timothy Flamger and Kenneth Portis.
Yeah, he's on his way out now.
So one race tonight, we have the old school sprint race, just one race at 60 minutes. Blaine Hall currently at P7.
Getting very close to Takis Weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Might be able to make a move here.
Oh, which Porsche is that? Yeah, I believe that was Brian Rasco. Yep.
Takis Weeks took the esports line over the grass.
Looks like Ben's going to capitalize on that. But we'll see if Takis is going to defend. It looks like he will. But Ben is going to carry a bit more speed out of Murray's corner and take that position.
Ryan, seeing all these blue flags, is it somewhat triggering for you?
Oh, God. The endurance.
So many blue flags.
Mm-hmm. Good experience, though.
Yeah, it was still fun.
It was the longest race I had ever been a part of.
Same. And I felt it afterwards.
I got off of my computer and I said, I'm done. I'm not looking at you.
Killer Phoenix blue flag means that you're getting passed by like a lead car, so you need to get moved over so they can get past you.
Marshals must be jacked after waving the flag all race. Yeah. They look like Popeye. They only have one strong arm.
Yeah. It's their strong hand.
Take my strong hand. Ooh. That looked like a very feisty. Oh, I can't even think. It Timothy Flamger just yeeted himself into the S's. I thought he was going to plow right into the back of Kenneth Portis's Honda. That was very ambitious.
Yeet.
You left me speechless.
I don't even know what to say right now.
Oh, what the hell? Very spaced out. Takis Weeks having a... he's closing in on Ben Keogh, about 4/10 away. And aside from that, it looks like Michael Landry is 3/10 away from Jeffrey Amador. And Thomas Stagg 3/10 from Chris Frizza.
Wow, that pit stop did not do Dag any favors.
No, not at all. But curious to see why he did need to pit. Like you said, potentially tires, as he did pit very early on.
Yeah, lap one, pretty much. I can check with him after. Wow. Alvarado's gap is at 24.8 seconds.
As is tradition.
Oh my god. Like, how was your leisurely Sunday drive, Nick?
Looks like Blaine moved up another position. P6.
Yeah, I think that was when Takis Weeks went off and mowed the lawn a little bit.
Oh, right. And capitalized on that off track there. Yeah, I don't know either. But even with fuel, that's only about 6 seconds potentially. Had some damage, and Blaine Hall taps the corner there at Dipper. And he's going to have some traffic come here. He is now stuck in the wall, and that is a horizontal Audi. And if that isn't Audi Tings, I don't know what is. That is very unfortunate. Had a hell of a comeback race from lap 1. Big F there for Blaine. That's unfortunate. We'll jump back on board with Austin Carpenter in his Cotton Candy Roadster. You can't tell me that doesn't remind you of Cotton Candy.
Yeah, it definitely does. Or like some bubble gum. Like some of those ones that, you know, you chew it for like 2 seconds and you're like, oh, that's all the flavor right there.
I need another one. It's like the roll of bubble tape.
Is that? Yeah.
Didn't Dag pit on safety car? Maybe they made him pit. Potentially. Like I said, we didn't hear the race director, so unsure what happened.
I'll follow up with him and we'll find out afterwards.
Battles. Timothy Flamger. Let's go on board with him. It's been one of our hot drivers tonight. At least for battles, that is. And he is knocking at the door of P10.
Nicholas Alvarado got his 159.
Did it. There we have it, ladies and gents.
Yeah, best lap 159.934.
There you go, Philippa.
Wow.
Speedy boy.
I mean, I guess when you've got all that clean air and, you know, no damage to the car and you know, just keep racing. Just keep driving at this point.
Trying to find when that lap was. I believe it was fairly recent, though. Car was parked at the side of the road when Hall hit the call, if you look at the replay. He's not a speedy boy, he's an alien. Alright, that's fair. That's fair. I agree with that. So, yes, Jay, I did see the car before Blaine smacked into the wall there. That's unfortunate. You gonna say something there, Dave?
I'm trying to watch Blaine's replay to see the car. Gotta turn off the autopilot in the broadcast controller. It keeps moving away from it, even in the replay.
Yeah. Could you imagine him still being quick as hell on mouse and keyboard?
Is that what Blaine's doing?
No. They're saying put Nicholas Alvarado on the keyboard.
I mean, I have seen somebody drive before with a keyboard. Like you can see it in the the cockpit view, just like the way the wheel moves, and
Well,
it looks so strange.
It's very sporadic.
It's like, how do you have any control?
Wait, hold on. He was on a mouse and keyboard and he was that quick? Hot damn.
201's on a mouse and keyboard.
Good
Oh my
God.
I'm just gonna sell my wheel. I'm done.
Alright, let's go. We'll move to Kartcraft, Dave. How about that? We'll start from humble beginnings. John Gray topping out the top of the amateurs currently. Best lap, he is sitting with a 203.1, and last lap was a 204.5. Seems like he's been very consistent. I'm unsure where he qualified though, but this is a great showing for him currently.
Obviously a little late, but it's starting to get partly cloudy, and why didn't it happen sooner?
It's just cloudy. There's no chance of meatballs.
Not yet, but you know, maybe.
Still
There's
got another race.
Always the red split.
Mm-hmm. See if we get meatballs on that race. Technically, we did have plenty of meatballs here tonight.
You know, they're gonna, if any of them like come back and listen to the stream afterwards, they're gonna be like, they wish rain on us.
Hey, we never said that.
Those jerks. Well, I mean, J-Rock did.
Exactly, it wasn't us.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's throw him under the bus.
Love you, Jay.
Kidding.
Oktoberfest. What?
Welcome.
Did you hear that?
No, but J-Rock said thanks, guys. It's like crap.
Looks like Michael Landry is 6/10 away. Jump on board there. So he's trailing behind Jeffrey Amador for that P13 spot. What did Michael have last few laps? Best is a 202.5. Last lap was a 203.6. Oh, getting a bit squirrely. Back on track there. Looks like Jeffrey is going to capitalize on that, pull away on the Conrad straight. And Landry will have a bit of catching up to do for the final 5 minutes of this race. Ironically enough, it wasn't us. Generally, we're the ones that are like, hey, it won't rain. It rains. There won't be a safety car. Safety car.
I don't think I've ever seen a wet race here, and I would love to.
At Bathurst?
Yeah.
I believe Europe had a wet race, and then AP red and blue, or red or blue.
I guess I'm going to have to go back and watch it.
Have to take little peeksies. So if I recall correctly, the Europe race was wet for a good majority of it, and then the final 12 minutes it started to dry up, so everyone's wets blew up like balloons to 33 or 34 psi. Thomas Pierce putting in some good laps here despite his chipped bumper there on the front.
Less paint, maybe it goes faster.
I don't think it works that way.
Shedding weight, you know?
It's all that lead paint.
Yeah, definitely. You get it.
Absolutely insane. Nicholas Alvarado is going through Quarry Bend, and then Thomas Pierce was just about crossing Murray's Corner. Wild. Alien pace. Can't recall if I asked already, but chat, what do you think? Which car do you prefer taking down the Mountain?
Do you see Killer Phoenix's comment on the less paint?
The Jenny Craig car.
Yeah.
Take a peek at Blaine Hall here. Tell you what, if it was a twofer race where we did the super sprint, he'd be sitting on pole for the second race. But granted, that doesn't necessarily help us out tonight.
Yeah. Last season it was a sprint as well, wasn't it? I don't think they did super sprint.
For Bathurst?
Yeah, for Bathurst.
Yeah, this seems like a track that needs to be done in one go around.
One race is enough.
Yeah. Great track, love it, tons of fun, but yeah. Just one. Koenigsegg didn't add a clear coat to their Jesco because it apparently adds 20 kilograms of weight. That is insane. So for us America boys, that is about roughly close to 45 pounds of paint. That's insane.
Just from the clear coat? Wow.
I mean, they have to put quite a few coats on it. Layer that bad boy on. Timothy Flamger is crossing Murray's Corner, and that is Blaine Hall's target currently. I believe he is about 9 seconds behind. Slowly catching up. And I would assume that the battle between Timothy Flamger and Kenneth Portis would play a beneficial role in Blaine catching up, but as we only have under a minute and a half remaining, it's likely that they will have 2 more laps as Nicholas Alvarado will cross the line before we get some donuts on the board. Have you ever seen a race leader slow down to the point where they just wait for 000 if they have such a lead?
I don't know if he would do it here, but I feel like we have seen a couple of times where if it's really close, they just kind of let off and coast over the line.
Yeah, no, there was way too much time there.
Yeah, Pierce would have definitely caught up.
Seems like the chat agrees, where they have seen someone just stop at the finish line to take the win. Take the dub.
Why not? Why go around again when you don't have to?
Oh shit, if you have like a 40-second lead in front of the car behind you. Looks like you do have a blue flag car there. A blue Aston.
Nick's car looks pristine. Like it's like he hasn't been behind people long enough to get any dings in it.
And when he is, they just move.
Yeah. Except in this instance.
Ooh, there is a battle I want to go to. Renato Dornelles. And he's got the floppy bonnet.
Uh-oh.
His pace must be hurting quite a bit. His last lap was a 2:13. Last lap here was a 2:18. That's not good. Ooh.
Oh, a little squirrely there coming out of there.
Yeah, it looks like Flamger had a bit too much speed. Pulls off onto the side. Doesn't quite get contact with the wall. But good recovery. Oh, he did do that? Was that in New World, Helion? So Kenneth Portis is going to capitalize on that damage that Dornelis has. And then I would assume that Flamger is also going to make a move for his position as well. Blaine Hall quickly catching up. I know it's not enough time, but almost 4.5 seconds versus the 9 seconds that he had previously. Whew, that looked close. It's like Gabriel Marsan getting quite close. Nicholas Alvarado crosses the finish line. Best lap of the 59.9. Excellent job there. Thomas Pierce coming in. He will be closing in P2. And I want to see this battle that we have up here. So it looks like Flamger does get around. He sees he is currently trailing behind Kenneth Portis. And we're going to jump up. Bruno Fabiano across the line, P2. And Alloy Ike Guy defying all odds with the Bentley here at the mountain. He will take P4.
Very nice showing by that guy there.
Yeah, excellent job. Ben Keogh taking P5. I'm sure he's happy to be back on top. Good to see that. Carpy taking P6. Trevor Hilligan's taking P7. Don't say his name. He got P7. He did a good job. Kenneth Portis takes P8. Timothy Flamger, P9. And Blaine Hall, excellent job there. Not the finish that he would like, as he did have a bit of sadness, but excellent recovery drive. Tops out the top 10 with P10. Renato Dornelles.
Ryan?
I'm not mocking you. Renato Dornelles takes P11 with a hefty amount of damage. Jeffrey Amador, P12. Landry, P13. And we see the rest of the grid start to cross finish line here. Excellent job, John Gray. P13 it looks like. P13 or P14 depending if someone had left. But great drive there from the AM driver. Thomas Dagg wrapping it up behind him, taking P14. Who, Dagg, as we remember, had the sadness under the safety car. Pitt had a recovery drive, got P14. So if we're going to pick unofficial drivers of the day, Dagg and Hall, you have my vote.
Yeah, they were able to come back pretty nicely.
That was excellent by them. So we'll take a look at the race. I'm curious to see. John Gray qualified at P27, finished at P14. Excellent job there, John. All right. And take a look at the race. And we have Gray, Frizza Graves, Pro-Am, Fabiano, Ike Guy, Hilligans, and overall, again, Alvarado, Pierce, and Fabiano. So let's go ahead and jump over to the North America Red Split. Do we know your brother Gary? I have no clue, Phoenix.
I will be right back.
All right, man. Take your time.
Give it all you can.
Okay, let's see here. As we wait for the broadcast controller to work. What is going on here? Let's go to the track. So, Nick had a bit of work to do, so he is unfortunately not able to join us tonight. But we shall see him in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, just give me 1 sec, guys. Working out some technical difficulties. Okay. Alright, we are going to get broadcast some time to figure out what it wants to do. Yes, no, Nick was great last week. I apologize. Been a long day today. Currently have 32 drivers out on the grid here for North America Red. And some best laps that we have. It looks like 201s. I do not see any 2 flats currently. So we'll have to see, will we get a 59 in qualification here? But we go currently on board with Andy Meyer in the Maca. And anyone who is currently watching, if you are interested in special events, certainly take a look at the OOR website, and you may potentially be able to sign up for the 9 hours of Kailami, which would be next weekend. So we'll be taking a week break from the Sprint Series, and you'll find us back here, I believe it's October 20th, for Zolder. Short track mayhem with absolute monsters for curbs. So October 21st, North America Red and Blue will be back at Zolder. But before that, we have some more Bathurst action. Go ahead, Dave.
I missed a message from Cam. He said Dag was required to do another pit stop or get a stop and go 30 for pitting under safety car.
Got it. Yep. So it looks like chat was correct on that call there. I don't get it, Dave. I have the weirdest issues with this shit. But so be it. Jump on board with Elliot Levine through practice here. Debutant to the Sprint Series in Season 7.
See if I can figure out who's new for this group. I don't think any of them are. I think these are all the same drivers from last week.
Everyone's back. All right. My head is pounding.
You know, drink some water or something, Ryan.
Oh, I got beach water.
It's got water in it, right?
It's made with it.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Oh, did you, bit side note, did you see the livery that Red Bull is going to have
I did not.
for the Turkish Grand Prix? So Red Bull did a bit of an homage because I believe that we were supposed to be at Suzuka either last week or this week, but it was canceled. So it's been canceled 2 years in a row now. But they're doing, it's essentially an all-white Red Bull livery
Oh, that
for,
that looks good. That looks
yeah,
really good.
yeah, no, it looks phenomenal. So Red Bull and AlphaTauri are both doing the livery, the special one-off livery this weekend. It'll look good.
Whenever I look at F1 cars and see all the sponsors, I'm surprised at how many like tech companies have gotten into like sponsoring these teams.
Mm-hmm.
Because I use like half of them at work.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, I know those guys and those guys. Those guys suck.
Oh, God, no. Not those guys.
Well, at my last job, the company that's on the wing for the Aston Martin team, Cognizant,
Mm-hmm.
we used them as like a contractor for the help desk, and they were terrible.
Never again.
Yeah, never.
All right, let's see if I can fix this.
What are you trying to fix?
I am attempting to get broadcast controller working. Everything only works for the first race and never the second.
J-Rock, Nick is out this week. He had too much homework to do.
Green light, go, go, go.
Can't blame the man. Priorities.
I get it. I'm gonna be finishing mine after the race.
I'm
They
hopping
were
on
my
that
priorities.
Battlefield beta. That's my priority.
Oh, how is it? I heard it's doing pretty good so far, review-wise.
I like it. A little off topic from racing, but good fun. What's up, boss man? How you doing, Mull? But yeah, no,
Hey,
it's
Mullet.
it's a nice little nod back to Battlefield 3 and 4.
Mullick, always here troubleshooting. You can never get away from it.
Well, it's the common denominator is moi.
Well, it's basically exactly like, you know, the IT crowd. He's like, have you tried turning it off and on again?
Mm-hmm. Sitting in his chair, reclined, eating his popcorn. Yeah, not sure. It's being feisty. It doesn't want to work for me. Anyways, currently on board with Cameron Sansano, who is Speedy Boy here in this split. So very curious to see what he can get. My assumption, 201s, potentially 2 flat. Of course we love you. That's not the only reason why.
Yeah, there's more than that reason.
So yes, as I said, Sansano, Speedy Boy here. Very curious to see where the rest of the grid will round up to. Jeff Spangler had a bit of an off week last week, uncharacteristically not in the top 10. Seems like he's still getting used to the Ferrari. So we'll have to see if he is able to show up and show out this week.
That's what he gets for cheating on his baby.
So everyone on their valid lap currently. A few guys still in the pits. Looks like they may be waiting for car number 23, Maltadini. cross that finish line, and then finally get onto the track. Yes, they are. I didn't want to say anything, but they are indeed.
But Papa knows. He always knows.
He's got that keen eye. Ooh, getting very squirrely going through the S's here. Bit of a dab there on the grass. Going through Dipper. Looking hectically quick. I'm curious to see what he'll pull out here. My assumption's potentially a 204, 205. It looks like teams are running with multiple cars, and we don't have the same cars from Kailami. Got lost in translation from South Africa to Australia. Where's the race logic on this?
For blue, we had a lap 1 safety car, but after that, it was pretty clean. Hot lap for Alvarado.
I stand corrected. 2019 on that. Looks like an absolute madman. But that will not be the top lap currently. It looks like James Morris, apologies, is going to take provisional P1, 201.4. Very close here. Adrian Bourdon taking provisional P2 and 500ths away from James Morris.
Yeah, Honda won the first race. Mullock.
Honda, Ferrari, and McLaren. Was it McLaren or Aston for P3?
I think it was McLaren. It was Pierce, wasn't it?
Yes. I believe so. Looks like Michael Landry is going to take P1 currently. Nearly a 201 flat, knocking on the door of the 2 flats.
And that would be Marc-Antoine Landry, not Michael.
Yeah. Apologies.
Well, he changed his name in it this time, so it looks exactly the same.
Yeah, it's taking a bit of getting used to, if you can't tell.
Yeah. Got to put that hyphen back in there for us.
$100 wins. Is that since season 1 there, Ryan? Yeah, Samwise Audi having a bit of sadness. Blaine Hall had a hell of a recovery race in the North America Blue Split. Fortunately, tapped the wall after there was a car on the side of the road. Ruined his flow. And he dropped down a tiny bit, but topped out the top 10. So he was able to get a top 10 finish from falling all the way back to the back of the grid. Convinced Honda has a cheat code here. Well, they're pretty deadly on the mountain.
Looks like Sansano has cracked the 2-minute mark. 2:09. Oh, but quickly dethroned here.
Take it away.
Looks like Marc-Antoine Landry coming in with a 2:77.
Curious to see if the existential 59 will make an appearance tonight. Love to see Alexis 1-2. You know, AP Green had Alexis at P1. Jake Baldwin, if I remember correctly. Almost the top 10, all within a second of one another. Grant Cleansing a tiny bit over a second away. But looking at, there's your Nissans for you. We have 3 on the grid as far as what I can see. Ryan Yee knocking on the door saying, hello, I'll take P1. 2 minutes flat, 0.7. Knocking Michael Antoine Landry to P2, 500ths away. So getting very, very spicy here in the top.
Right now, he's our overall points leader for the red split.
You just sounded like a droid from Star Wars.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. Are you using push-to-talk there?
No.
Okay.
Just, you know, podunk internet here in the middle of New Hampshire.
Hey, it's been working this far.
the hamster got tired.
Alright, I'll send my gerbil up to you. Cameron Sansano currently sitting at P3. Zach Patterson P4. Got some Audi Tings up in the top 5. And 2 Nissans in the top 5. Simon Salomon and Michael Antoine Landry. Hamza goals are uncharacteristically P18 currently.
That is pretty strange.
Granted, we know that the Macca isn't the strongest here at Bathurst, but quite odd to see him that far down on the grid. The royal livery, the dark deep purple with the nice gold overtones. Not bad at all. Looks like Ryan Yee is going to take another fastest lap of the qualifying session. 2 flat, 0.5.
He'll be the one to watch to see if he can crack the 59.
Let's take a peek. Nope. Not from the pits. That won't happen.
Not during qualifying, but maybe during the race.
Potentially, yeah. So qualifying is coming to an end here. We are going to go on board with Jonathan Geiger. See what he can pull out. 206, he does improve. Goes up to P2 right behind Ryan Yee. 500ths away. Michael Antoine Landry will take P3.
Gotta represent the Hondas. No. Gotta have a Honda up there.
Thomas Farnes crossing the line at P9. Jeff Spangler at P10. Looking a little more characteristic there for Mr. Spangler, our star-spangled man.
With a plan.
And we wait for about 2 minutes while the drivers get their final setups ready. Another dry race. No rain.
Come on. Fun. No fun.
Yeah, great drive there from Ryan Yee. Very, very quick in that Porsche. Very curious to see how Ryan will be able to defend down the Conrad Straight and especially after Hell Corner. I believe that Geiger could potentially catch him, especially with a decent toe. But we shall see.
Yeah, we'll have to see how good he is at defending. Oh yeah, gotta do the flyby.
Of course, get a look at the grid.
And the paint job on the Nissan looks pretty great this year.
Yeah, not too bad. We are missing some stickers out there. We'll get that fixed in the next few weeks. It wouldn't be a stream run by me if something weren't working. Is this a new livery? Or has that always been there?
Pretty, for the Nissan,
Yeah.
I think they've had that one.
Okay. Oh, is that? Hold on. Yeah, I was about to say. I think that's the team that we noticed last week. And we have everyone going out for their out lap before we begin here at Bathurst. Once again, we do have the sprint race tonight, which is 60 minutes, one mandatory pit stop, where you can get new tires and refuel, or you're forced to get new tires, I should say rather. And we gonna get it on here shortly. I lost my mouse.
Where's the safety car?
I don't believe that we do have a safety car.
What are we supposed to do?
Stop! We'll get Frosty out there. He'll take care of it. Is it Thanksgiving for our Canadian friends? I thought it was soon.
Monday, October 11th.
Yeah, so next Monday. Well, happy belated Thanksgiving to our Canadian viewers here that are watching and friends. Excellent. Certainly enjoy that. Some time off.
He is doing a pretty good job controlling the pace here on the out lap here. Letting everybody get nice and bunched up.
Now, this is what 80 kilometers looks like when it's supposed to be 80 kilometers.
Not that anybody would push that boundary ever.
No, never. Who would do that?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Jay is going to have a nice long weekend.
Oh man, I'm pretty jealous.
Kicking it off with some OOR action properly. And Dave, take away the start here.
Oh my goodness. Such pressure. Try and channel my inner Nick. It won't be very good.
You can do it. I believe in you.
All right, so they're coming around the last corner here, waiting for the green flag. Keeping it pretty tight. Looks good. Looks good to start off.
green light.
And we are green flag. Looks like Landry was able to get a bit better of a start than Geiger was able to get in front of him. A little bit of bumping behind him there. And I guess a little bit of sadness there in the back. It looks like we've got a car turned around. Looks like the Bentley for maybe Lucas. And Landry making a move to get around the Porsche potentially.
Oh, it looks like he just tapped the
did he
quarter
clip
panel.
His bumper?
Yeah.
Maybe had a little bit of contact there. Still pretty close up here. Not like the last race where we kind of saw everybody pull back a little bit. But they look to still be going at top speed, so no safety car for now. But I think the fans are going to love to see the Nissan towards the front. See if they can keep it up.
Yeah, Ryan Yee losing a few positions there. Falls back 4 spots from the initial start. He started at P1, and then with the bit of contact that he received going through the Quarry Bend, knocked him down a little bit, but he's not out of contention as you can see him in that bright green Porsche.
Can we take a peek at his car, see if he's got any damage? I don't think he went too far wide. Just unlucky.
You can see a bit of contact on that rear bumper there, but as far as the front bumper and his right side, not too much damage at all. We'll get a peek at the left side here. Tiny bit.
No, I would imagine we'll see a penalty for that, but we shall see.
I would assume so, but as they are both still driving, maybe 10 seconds. I don't know that it would exceed 10 seconds there, though.
But not bad to start. Looks like everybody is starting to space out just a little bit.
Looked like Ryan wanted to poke his nose on the inside there of Cameron Sansano, but backed out at the last second going through Hell Corner. He's going to attempt to get a nice toe going into Quarry Bend. And we haven't seen anyone go around the outside at the cutting. Very curious if we'll get a glimpse of that in the gaggle of cars here. Nearly 2x2 grid formation going into Quarry Bend. Very, very close racing here. You love to see it.
No, is the Porsche, I don't think it's typically known for its high-end speed on the straights.
No, but the nice thing with the Porsche is there's so much, I would say 40 to 50% of this track where you can't pass.
Right.
And
that's very true.
And with how nimble the car is, especially on the top of the mountain, it does start to shine a tiny bit. When you get down to Conrad Straight, it starts to slack. You get caught up there a little bit. I'm going to call it Conrad until the end of the night. It's just going to happen. Bear with me, people. But yeah, it's the last few straights that really kill it on this track here.
Looks like Sam Snelltrain did have to pit already. And is all the way at the back of the grid.
Quite unfortunate there.
And car 23 maybe had a little bit of an incident back as well. We're up the grid a bit more, but they're back a little bit. And car 5 is currently highlighted yellow. Who's that?
Steve Davis. Looks like potentially a bit of sadness
also
going out of Force Elbow.
Yeah, also falling quickly.
So it looks like Enribon's going to take an early pit, potentially getting some damage there from first lap carnage. And we're going to jump on board with Zach Patterson. And looks like he is trailing behind, who is this? Jonathan Geiger?
Yep.
Some more Audi tings for you. We do have 2 Audis on the grid tonight. Taylor Clark and Zach Patterson. Still no cut around the outside. Jump back down to Simon Salomon. It's in the Nissan there. car number 811. Whew, getting a little squirrely there.
I feel like most of the time I'm up there, I feel like this car is not as stable as it should be.
Bit of a brown flag moment there, eh?
Yeah, pretty much. Always kind of in the same spot. Like, if you know, miss the turn by just a little bit, you kind of like slingshot towards the wall from all the speed that you're carrying.
Mm-hmm. It's tough.
It sounds like you've experienced the same thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Probably most have.
If you haven't become acquainted with the wall at Bathurst, then you haven't driven Bathurst enough.
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to jump down to Giordano, who has a hell of a battle right now. Looks like Andrew Sear is right behind him. It looks like he potentially got the pass going down Conrad Straight. And was able to take that spot going into Murray's corner and pulling a sizable gap. As we let the tower update as he crosses the start-finish line there. So yeah, it looks like almost a second ahead of Andrew Sear currently, who is in that teal Porky Boy right behind him. And Tony is going to push to get behind or past Colin Johnson. Hamza Golzar, P12. Right on the bumper of Jeff Spangler. Looks like Jeff wanted to shed some paint chips there too.
Yeah, he must have heard the conversation earlier about how much weight is in the paint.
Yeah, he heard Cohenzig was doing something smart, so he said, yeah, I don't need this.
He's like, oh, those guys know what they're doing.
So it looks like Hamza's last lap was a 2:02.05, and that will be his best lap currently as well. And the Star Spangled Man, 2:03.2. Slightly slower than Hamza, who is on the bumper of him, but it also looks like he's collected quite a bit of damage around the entire car on the front and back. Have not seen the left side of the car yet. Hamza getting an excellent exit out of Forest Elbow, and he will get a decent tow. Take a look from the sky here. And it looks like Hamza is closing in shortly as they make this uphill. Going into this little kink here at the end of the track known as the Chase. And it's going to be a challenge of who is going to outbrake who. And Hamza is attempting to take the inside line. Jeff closes that door right in his face. And right behind Hamza, Colin Johnson knocking on his door with Tony Giordano.
Spangler going into the pits.
Yeah, seems to be
taking a quick second to go to chat. Virtus had a comment that said they've made out with so many walls on this track this week. If they had a girlfriend, she would be mad at him.
Ooh, Tony Giordano getting very wide here on Hell's Corner. And it looks like he's potentially dropped a few positions. Granted, we did have a few guys go into the pits, so they gained spots that way. But very unfortunate on Hell's Corner. Proving its name right.
Yeah, I think Hell's Corner has such a fine margin of you know, going through the correct way. You know, easy to, you know, not do it. You know, drive too far and too far in.
Crucial corner there, where you can pick up or lose half a second.
Oh, easy.
Ooh, we got the VTEC power getting a little squirrely.
Yeah, pinballing off the walls a little bit there.
Looks like he was able to stabilize the car a tiny bit. He's fallen back behind Salomon, but much better than absolutely binning the car into the wall.
Yeah, could have been much worse. Easy to get spun around back there. So nice driving to keep it in control for the most part.
We watch this tight little gaggle. Ryan Yee moving up one position from his initial start. So he's currently at P4 in that lime green Porky Boy. Tony Giordano 2/10 away from Grant Klinzing in the Nissan. Lots of decent battles around the track here still. We'll stick with this gaggle. I'm going to jump on board with James Morris, who's currently in the middle of it all.
If you get a second, could be worth going back to look at Keith Briscoe, Grant Klinzing, and Tony Giordano. They're very close. They just came around the back corner. Yep. Or the first corner.
Yeah, Tony Giordano very hungry on the bumper of Keith Briscoe. Keith Briscoe currently in the Lexus that we can see in the black and blue livery. Who's trailing behind, is that Andrew Sear? No. Keith Briscoe behind Grant Klinzing. Ooh, Tony getting a bit antsy through the cutting, having an excellent exit. Still showing Keith that he is right there on his bumper as we start to make our way up the mountain. Going through Red Park and Solomon Park and eventually making our way up into Skyline here shortly. Oh, Keith going a bit wide. Looks like he's able to stabilize the car a tiny bit. Back on track going into the S's and Dipper. But he will forfeit that position over to Tony Giordano, who is now creating a sizable gap. And Keith will have to keep... Go ahead.
I thought he was hitting the wall. He
was
making a line for it.
Yeah, that was so close. Looks like Duarte is right behind him and had an even better exit out of Forest Elbow. So Keith attempting to stabilize the car. The Lexus is very quick down Conrad Straight. So he should be able to maintain pace in front of both the Lambo and Porsche that we can see behind him. Doesn't look like he has too much damage. The hood had a few scratches on it, but nothing too serious. Best lap is currently a 2:03.9. We'll see what his last lap is there. 2:06. He's losing a few seconds likely to the off track there. Doing a good job of keeping his elbows out and keeping Duarte and Alvarez at bay. Jump back up to the leaders here. We got Ryan Yee in P4 right behind Cameron Sansano.
I think Ryan Yee's a newcomer to OOR this season, at least for the Sprint Series, and been really impressive so far.
Yep. Yeah, no, he's been very quick. Good to see some new faces in here, as well as some fast, speedy faces. Shaking up the top of our grids. Ryan Yee not leaving the rearview mirror there of Cameron Sansano. Certainly establishing his presence. The Italian popcorn, huh?
Yeah, love it. Never gets old.
Never. Not once, not never. That's what I always say.
Oh, looks like we got a couple penalties. Let me go take a peek. What we got going on? Looks like Onraban has got a 5-second penalty for a collision on lap 1. Tony Giordano has a 10-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 1. And Marc-Antoine Landry got a 5-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 1.
That'll be interesting to see how the penalty with Landry plays out, because all of these penalties now will be served within the pit. So that standard 30-second pit is now becoming 35, 40, and if you have damage, depending on whether you want to fix that damage or not and how the car is handling, that could be another 5 to 10 seconds just on top of the penalties that people are accruing.
got some guys going 3 wide through Hell's Corner right now.
It's craziness.
And they survived. Yeah. It's DeBeaton, Stevens, and Lucas.
Certainly jump down to that battle here shortly. We're on board with Andy Meyer. And the yellow Lightning McLaren, Bavarian Racing. Ooh, getting a bit squirrely. It looks like he avoids the wall. He's into the grass. Tiny bump there on his back bumper.
That's not too bad. Just a light kiss.
In terms of hitting the wall, yes, but he's getting very close. He's in the racing line there. He's going to back off. I would say it's safe to assume that he will have a few flat spots.
Yeah, I think that is pretty safe to assume.
Yeah, that's where you get to the point with your racing wheel and you're like, why the hell is this jiggling at me? Why is it shaking back and forth? And you unplug the wheel. Is it the wheel? No, it's the game. It's the simulation. It's the simulator.
Yeah.
It's not a game.
That definitely happened to me when we were driving in a pub league or a pub race once in the Maserati. Tires were so messed up by the end.
You feel like your
man,
wheel is all messed up.
Oh yeah, you could feel it the whole way around.
Mm-hmm. See if Alberto gets a nice poke in here on the inside. He's going to follow in suit behind Duarte.
Pretty nice looking Lambo.
Yeah, not bad at all. Looks like Ryan Yee is in the pits, as you could see his lime green Porsche there. As we went through and past Hell Corner. Just a little bit.
It sticks out. Definitely know where he is.
It helps. You start to find cars that stick out noticeably.
It's like is Alvarez trying to make a move on Duarte.
Attempting to. It looks like they're holding position fairly well. I want to jump down to Taylor Clark. Nice little battle here between Taylor Clark and Jeff Spangler.
Looks like both of them have taken the early pit.
Mm-hmm. Car 575, Taylor Clark. Looks like he just put his best... Oh, no. Apologies. Not his best lap, but close to it. 202.8 is his best. 202.9 is what he just pulled out on that last lap. So, still running consistent as we are nearly to a third of the way through the race. 41 minutes remaining. Bit of the way to go. But these two, Clark and Spangler, will certainly be feeling the effects of lost grip by the end of this race. We'll check back on these guys here shortly, see how they climb the grid with everyone conducting their pit stops. We're going to go to Alvarez. He's currently P14, still trailing behind Duarte.
Yeah, it should be interesting if he can get around him. Seems like he keeps getting relatively close, and Duarte is able to space it back out.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you're trailing that close, especially the situation he just ran into where he had to bail out on the side. All that time that you're making up with chasing is lost right there. And it's going to take another 2 laps, roughly, if they're running the same pace, to catch back up to that same position to potentially find a nice spot to overtake Duarte. Nice safe spot for that matter.
Right. Yeah. Not, not going for dives and whatnot.
No.
The autopilot also honed in on the same battle.
Say it again?
The autopilot in the broadcaster also switched to the same battle. So must be the closest one right now.
I don't know how you got yours to work still, but mine, I have demons in my computer. Doesn't want to work.
I turned it off and on again, and it was fine.
Yeah, tried that 5 times.
You needed to do it the 6th time.
How could I forget? Alright. Yeah, that's not going to do anything, so we'll go back to ACC. Looks like Duarte is also very close to Keith Briscoe. Duarte and Alvarez keeping the same distance between or amongst one another, and Keith Briscoe topping out this little gaggle here.
Yeah, pretty nice spacing between them. They all seem to be driving pretty consistent.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Cameron Sansano still maintaining his position with Morris right behind him, a little over a second away. And Sansano 11 seconds away from Michael Antoine Landry. Now, here's when you start to think, okay, when is Landry going to pit? He has this 5-second penalty, so that's going to tack on to his pit stop. And you really have to hope that you still have some decent grip, that you can push out some fast laps if he does jump into the pit and you try the overcut.
It looks like Alvarez was able to get past Duarte, but I think he might have clipped him on the way by. Duarte did go kind of start spinning wide a little bit, but managed to save it.
Got a Porsche sideways there. I wonder if that's Sear. It must be. Whew, nearly getting out of the way of that Bentley. That was close. Looks like Tatis Lucas in the Starburst Bentley livery. Hop on board with Adrian Bourdon and the Maca. So we had North America Blue was the Aston split. What was red? Was it the McLaren split?
Let me take a look at the attendance sheet here. There are a lot of McLarens in this split. Yeah, definitely the Mackie split. So Ducky's got to switch over to the red split.
Yeah, he'll fit right in, right?
Yeah, be amongst his people.
The return of the duck 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
they'll be back for the endurance special. But for sprints, 2 weeks. I'm going to jump down to P21. Looks like Taylor Clark has a decent battle here behind Onribon. Onribon still holding that 5-second penalty. Unsure if that penalty just came in. So if he holds his position, he will certainly gain another at the end of the race. And all three between those two and Jeff Spangler have taken their pit stop already.
Yeah, should be pretty interesting to see where they end up. Because I think they pitted about like 15 minutes into the race.
It was very quick.
Trying to go 45 minutes on tires and fuel. Fuel probably less concerned about. Tires, I don't know. I spin my tires a lot, so I go through them a little bit quicker than these guys.
I will say, the one benefit, if you do pit early, your car is going to be heavy as hell. So, yes, ironically saying that that's a benefit. But generally, when the car is heavier, you can't spin the tires as much. So, you can maintain those tires a tiny bit longer. That assists.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, right? But you are running close to, I believe, 100 liters of fuel, especially for Bathurst. It's such a long track, 3.8 miles. You need, what is my maths if I did them correctly? I believe it's close to 120. No, I apologize. 90 to 100 maybe for a full race. I forget.
Keep seeing quite a few cars go far right into the sand at the top of the mountain. I feel like we've seen quite a few go off up there.
Yeah, it's that
between the two splits this week.
definitely that speed. If you're attempting to pull too much speed and you don't lift at the top of that tiny hill going into Skyline, then certainly going to push you out wide. So we're going to jump back up to the top of the grid here. Looks like we have some people coming out of the pits. Michael Antoine Landry still at the top.
Looks like we have had another penalty come through. It looks like Elliot Levine got a 10-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 2.
Quite unfortunate. Now, Philippa, here's the solution. I'm not going to drive the AMG.
It's a very thirsty car. I was blown away with how much fuel it uses.
What is it, 5 liters on Bathurst?
You know, I never drove it around Bathurst, but it, you know, it's got to be close, like 4, close to 4 maybe.
I mean, so default Lexus is 3.8. After you put in some laps, I believe it's between 3.4, 3.6. So it's still quite a bit.
Oh,
but
I bet you the AMG is definitely higher than that.
That's absolute nonsense.
Just all
thirsty.
all that power.
Thirsty boy.
Power and weight. That's why it doesn't turn at all.
Yeah, because it's full of fuel.
Yeah. You need all that fuel just to get around the track.
Yeah, exactly. So Duarte 3/10 away from Spec. Looks like he may be potentially putting on a move here soon. But other than that, the grid is spaced out quite a bit. The top 10 have yet to pit. I take that back. Giordano currently in the pits. But Ryan Yee could find some luck with his undercut.
Jump to Salomon. They're currently going down the mountain. Looks like he's trying to get around some blue flags.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Duarte and who was that in the Lexus? Spect.
Looks like he had to hold the chase out there for a tiny bit in terms of Simon's line. And he'll likely pass Spect going past Hell's Corner. Hell Corner. Or Murray's Corner there. So Simon will assume his position back at P3 in front of the blue flags there. And another blue flag separating Salomon and Sansano, it looks like. Potentially the Audi of Zach Patterson.
So now that we're about to hit the 30-minute mark, looking at the weather, looks like we're going to have a dry rest of the race. Sadness.
It would be interesting to shake it up. Have a, I would say, first 40 minutes dry right after everyone has pit, and then immediately send everyone back in the pits to equip
You're
wet
evil,
tires. Huh?
You're evil.
Could you imagine that? I mean, it's not going to happen. We clearly have cloudy skies for the next 30 minutes.
Like you pit and you got to pit again.
But, I mean, that's when you start to get the situation such as Lando ran into, when you're pushing, the track feels fine, and then all of a sudden, it's a bit of a monsoon that some teams knew about, some others didn't. So Mercedes had the
Oh, yeah,
better
it was
information in that one.
We are
Such
halfway.
sadness.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Big F for Lando there. I was rooting for him. That was the first F1 race where I was up out of my couch screaming at the TV. That was fun.
I heard a recording where like they were like, "Do you want to come in for wets or intermediates?" And he's like, "No."
Yeah. He's like, shut up.
Yeah. And then
I
a
know what
couple
I'm
laps
doing.
later, you see him fly off, and you're like, "Yikes!"
You could tell though, it was a series of about 3 to 4 laps, and he was losing grip like crazy. So it was very
Yeah.
unfortunate to see.
He had his ice skates on, sliding
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, quite unfortunate. But we've been able to see a Danny Rick victory, which I'm very happy with,
Oh yeah, definitely.
at Monza. Got to place his trophy next to Ayrton Senna's, which is pretty cool. Looks like Keith Briscoe's running into some damage potentially. Last lap was a 209. It's either damage or traffic. You want to talk about a nightmare of an A-pillar? This is it, ladies and gents. If you hope to see the apex of your turn, good night. And I just noticed that all the braking markers have been murdered there on the side of the chase.
Looks like Jonathan Geiger went off track and has teleported back to the pits. Again, at the top of the mountain, off into the dirt.
Bit unfortunate there. We're back on board with Tony Giordano, who is trailing behind Sam Snelltrain, who is in that lime green Lambo that you see in the foreground. But aside from this little gaggle here, Giordano, Snelltrain, and Cleansing, that's it. Cleansing has a 41-second gap between himself and Colin Johnson, it looked like. Now we have some updates here on the poll, and potentially I stand corrected. Thanks, Kunos.
Yeah, gotta love when it bounces around.
Oh, you thought you were right?
Wrong.
Looks like Ryan Yee
Mark-
capitalized on another position. P3
Yeah,
now.
currently up into P3. Marc-Antoine Landry was able to stay in P1 after pitting.
Be interesting to see if Sensano can close that gap. Currently 9 seconds away. It was a pretty hefty gap when Landry went into the pits. Cracking into the 26-minute mark. I believe we have about 13 to 14 laps to go.
Looks like our only Honda representation in this race is Barnes. I think the other two have pitted and do not appear to be completing the race.
Interesting, that's unfortunate. In order to get some points, you do need to complete 3/4 of the race. If you do not, that is a DNF.
Looks like something may have happened to Keith Briscoe, currently highlighted yellow. spun around.
Ooh, that is a bad spot. He's at Solomon Park.
Oh, man. Somebody almost hit him.
See if we can jump up to Keith.
Looks like he is on the move.
So if his car is not damaged, his tires are screaming right now. It must be Grant Cleansing car 49. It is Grant Cleansing behind Keith Briscoe currently. So Keith will have to vacate that race line. Tell you what, man, Giordano is our warrior tonight, putting on a ton of battles.
Yeah. I feel like, didn't they fall back a little bit at the beginning?
Tiny bit if I recall correctly, and Tony having an excellent exit there out of the chase. Going into Murray's corner, see if he can get another good exit. Fairly decent Snell train, also picking up the pace and getting out of that corner quickly.
Also, nice recovery drive from Snell Train. Something happened on lap 1, and he was all the way back. I think all the way at the back of the grid. So making it up to P10 is a nice recovery.
Gotta wonder how old those tires are and the wear that he's putting on them.
It was very early on.
And we are going 2 by 2 through Corey's Bend.
Lap 1 or lap 2, I think, is when he pitted for those tires.
If they're not screaming now, they will be soon.
It's like Giordano misjudged the speed there and had to kind of jerk out of the way to dodge him.
Yeah, that was quite a little dodge there, so that's going to put a bit more wear on the tires. But showing that he has the pace to challenge Snell Train here in the race. And if we look, last lap was a 204.2, best lap is a 202.1. Andy Meyer looks to also be battling with Jeff Spangler, currently 4/10 away. So we'll jump down to that battle here in a bit. I would imagine that Giordano is going to have a better toe and potential to catch up here on Conrad. And we'll see if he's going to poke his nose in for a potential switchback going through the chase. But it looks like he's going to tuck behind him going into Murray's corner. Be interesting to see. Sam doing an excellent job of defending off Giordano. Great battle between these two here. Take a look through Hell Corner, see if anyone gets a better exit. Looks like both drivers here are pulling off an excellent showcase. Pace is still slow. I'm curious if it's due to grip, due to damage, but seeing as these drivers have both hit 202s, if I recall correctly, 203 for Sam Snell Train. So potentially the pace of that Lambo is slowing down Giordano, but he's able to keep his elbows out enough to keep Giordano and his Aston at bay. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump down to Andy Meyer, who's in P16, car 123, following behind the Star Spangled Man.
I think Jeff was another one of the drivers that pitted pretty early, about 15 minutes in.
Yep. Jeff doing a good job of defending there, currently P15. And Henri Bon sitting at P14. It looks like he could potentially lose a few spots here by the end of the race, granted if everyone stays in the position that they're in. And Jeff and Andy will both move up one spot.
Also a nice recovery driver by Onraban. I think at the beginning they had fallen pretty far back as well.
Yeah, Onraban is quickly proving to be quite a consistent, fast driver. Showed up, showed out at Kailami. Did an excellent job in both races there. Had a few incidents. One thing that we need to take into consideration this season are the license points that drivers will be receiving. So depending on the incidents that you receive, 5 second, 10 second, 15, drive through, anything of that nature, that plays into effect with the license points that these drivers will receive. And for every 10 license points, it is a qualification ban for that next race.
And that's new for this season?
It is, yep. So that's something that we're trying out currently for Season 7.
There was another racing league that I was in that had something similar to that, where you received points and would get blocked from qualifying from the next race.
It's an interesting concept, makes it a little bit more realistic. And if we take a look, it looks like Andy Meyer was finally able to get around Jeff Spangler. And that transition started at Hell Corner, carried through Quarry's Bend. And now Jeff is playing catch up. But yeah, like you said, I think the point system is interesting. It adds a whole new aspect and could potentially force drivers to drive a bit more carefully, especially depending on the amount of points that they have. And I would assume the penalty system will also have plenty of people trying to plead their case to get rid of any penalties that come their way that they believe do not deserve to be there.
Yeah, I imagine the channel to try and argue against whatever he got is pretty busy, especially the closer you get to those thresholds of missing out on a qualifying session.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these tracks, qualifying is, overall qualifying is important, to try and get as much of an advantage as you can. A lot of these guys, when they get in the front, they typically stay there. So you kind of want every advantage you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Missing a qualifying session really throws a wrench in that plan.
Yeah. Oh, or it can be very lucky, depending if there's quite a bit of sadness, large pile up of cars. You never know.
Yeah.
Blessing and a curse, I suppose. So we're still watching Adrian Bourdon as they are trailing behind Simon Salomon. And this is the battle for P4. From Salomon to Yi, it looks like there is an 8.5 second. And we have a McLaren off track. Do not know. It was red McLaren, did not receive a number. He's currently mowing the grass going down Conrad Straight.
Is that Bourdon? No.
Well, Pirelli won't be happy about that.
Figure out which one it was. I think the red one is Elliot Levine. Oh, that car looks rough. Quite a bit of damage.
Looks like Elliot caught a bit of sadness there. That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
Likely
looks like
headed.
he's heading into the pits now.
Yeah. Jump on board with Taylor Clark in the Audi, the BGR Racing team. Ooh, a bit of an off track. Good stability there, getting back on. Sam Snell Train's going to capitalize on that and pull away a tiny bit. In the background, you see Tatis Lucas, who's 4.2 seconds away from Clark. And we are 15 minutes from the race conclusion. So we're 3/4 of the way through the race right now. Tires are screaming, especially for those who have pit within the first 10 minutes of the race due to collisions at the beginning. So it'll be very interesting to see how the end of this race plays out. Looks like Landry is pulling a decent gap there, though. Currently 14.5 seconds ahead of Cameron Sansano. Ryan Yee on a charge to retain his top spot, but I don't know that he'll be able to get the P1 here in this race unless there's some major sadness from Landry's side.
Yeah, Landry seems to have a pretty good handle on the lead. Seems to be, he's not obviously not as far ahead as Alvarado was in the first split, but you know, still pulling ahead. Just as, you know, he's still pulling ahead, but just not as big of a gap.
Yeah.
Hopefully the folks from the first split that were in chat that missed seeing the Nissan stuck around to see it performing so well.
Yeah. To catch their weekly dose of Nissan action. So it looks like we have 3 Nissans in the top 10, 3 Ferraris, 1 Honda, 1 Mako, 1 Porky Boy, and then an Aston to top it out.
So a little, but you know, some variety there.
A little bit.
Just missing the Audi, the Lambo, and there are no Bentleys in this split, I think. Right? No. Maybe
no, I believe you're correct. No, there's one. Tatis Lucas. The Starburst.
James Morris. Are they new for this split? I don't recognize the name. Yeah, they weren't around last week. Doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Currently up in P6.
Not too bad at all with the Pro-Am badge.
Hey, do we have any amateurs in the split?
We do. Maltadini, Elliot Labine, and then there are a few others as well. Looks like we have a bit of a gaggle of cars that just went through Forest Edge. Let's see. 112. Thomas Varnes. I would assume it is a combination of back markers and a few of the top 10 drivers that we have here. God, could you imagine having to make the braking point at the chase without any of those brake markers?
Yeah. I hate when that happens.
It's always good to have brake markers that are unbreakable, because when you run into this issue, you miss it.
Yeah,
or
remember at the enduro race at Donington.
Oh God, yeah.
When we lost that brake marker, we're like, okay, we got to figure out where to stop.
Oh, was it the hairpin? The last hairpin there?
No, it was like at the bottom of that like hill that you go down where you take that really high speed corner.
Yep. I remember. It's within
that
second sector.
Yeah. It was sad.
Yeah. It was a challenge, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think you were in the car when it was wiped out.
I was like, oh shit, time to find a new marker.
I mean, it wasn't us. We didn't wipe it out.
Nah, we wouldn't do such a thing.
No, we need it.
I know.
We need the brake marker.
Currently watching Andy Meyer in the lime green Mecca, trailing behind Henri Ban, Makuta Pade. So I'm curious to see if Henri Ban is going to pull a gentleman driver move and let Meyer by if he starts to pressure him with that 5-second penalty, or if he's going to attempt to keep his elbows out, retain the position, and force Andy to make a risky move and potentially push away from that group and maintain his spot.
Yeah, it seems to me like he's maybe gonna try the latter. You know, not give it up easily.
Yeah, I would agree, judging by the driving style there. And then it looks like Andy's catching up on the fact that he is going to have to take that position by merit and pass him properly and not just receive that spot. Which is understandable, because you never know what can happen as we are under 10 minutes from the race conclusion here. You never know what can happen. And we're going to jump up to Taylor Clark. Well, Sam Snelltrain, rather. Taylor Clark is right behind him in the Audi. The Lambo and the Audi seem very equivalent on this track. Not one seeming a bit stronger than the other.
Yeah, I don't know if we had any Lambos in the. Or no, I think we maybe had one Lambo in the blue split.
Potentially one. Looks like Taylor's getting a nice tow going into Quarry's Bend here. But Snelltrain is going to take that racing line, maintain his position. A bit slow going out of the exit, leaving Taylor Clark on that outside line. But this can be very dangerous going into the cutting, carrying too much speed. Looks like both will get a decent exit out as they make their march up the mountain. I would also say it's fair that both of these cars are hyperallergic to curbs. Oh!
Oh,
And
no.
ironically, a bit of sadness there from Sam Snelltrain, snapping back onto the track after running into the grass, taking a bit of a tap. And Taylor Clark will now take Snelltrain's position of P11.
And so far in this split, that seems to be the issue area right there. A lot of cars going off, hitting the wall.
I think it's the
feel
curb.
you know, up there, that you know, you can get so much speed in that one section, and it's pretty easy to go off. And depending on the technique you use to try and correct it, it's easy to overcorrect, undercorrect. I mean, it's such a fine line up there to get off of the grass, and not fly off into Never Never Land.
And the odds of Never Never Land are very high when you get to that
very,
point.
very high, because you're going so fast. You know, it's you know, very difficult to get out of that situation.
Yeah,
As
absolutely.
we've seen in this race, you know, that whole section, I feel like we've seen so many yellow circles,
Yeah,
flying off up there.
yeah, absolutely. Have a few McLarens getting feisty there in the back. It looks like Henri Bon is still retaining his position. Andy Meyer trailing behind a bit further than what he was a few laps ago. But still...
If you get a chance, jump up to Yi. Getting very close to Sansano.
You read my mind. Yi getting a hell of a tow down the Conrad Straight. Screaming Porky Boy coming down here. And
Oh, wow,
as we
you
all
were hitting
know...
all those markers are gone.
Yeah, it is all gone, so you need to know this track at this point. But between these two vehicles, Porky Boy with braking distance wins every day. One of the best cars with braking, followed closely behind, I would say Audi, and then Lexus isn't bad either.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what Yi is able to do with these last couple laps. I mean, he's getting very, very close to the bumper of Sansano.
Yeah, absolutely. I do believe that the Ferrari has enough braking power and agility to fend off the Porsche. So it is going to come down to the drivers, see what they can do. Last lap for Yi, 2:02.9, and then last lap for Sansano was a 2:02.7. So Sansano is still defending very well and keeping pace to defend against Yi. So we'll have to see as we enter the last 5 minutes of this race. And where is Landry? Let's see how many laps we could potentially have left. I believe he's going through Forest Elbow. Yeah, so Landry is currently clear to Forest Elbow, going down the Conrad Straight. So we likely have about 2 to 3 laps left. More likely 3.
It seems like Sansano keeps being able to pull away enough to be able to fend him off on these, high speed sections.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Yi coming out of that corner blisteringly fast.
Gonna try and make a move on the outside.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Good defense there by Sansano, pushing Yi out to the side.
Looks like Yi was able to maintain quite a bit of speed.
Yeah, Ryan Yi was still on the racing line, forcing Yi to take a bit of an odd line going to Murray's corner. But these two, as you can see in the camera there on the side, Yi is now side by side with Sansano. So Sansano is going to be forced to take the inside line, not the ideal racing line. So he'll be on the switch back here. Yi could potentially capitalize on this going into the cutting. But see if he backs off. He does. So yeah, Yi pulls off going into the cutting. Doesn't even try to go side by side there. Another march up the mountain.
There. Yeah.
No, not at all.
I think was the wise and safe choice to back off a little bit to be able to tuck in and hug the inside wall there.
Yeah, absolutely. He knows that he has the pace. He can challenge him. So it's just a matter of trying to get the best out of these corners here at the top of the mountain as we make our way through the S's, Dipper, and then eventually the penultimate corner of Forest Elbow.
But you also kind of have to look at the time. Does he get desperate? Does he try and force something? Seeing that he maybe only has 2 laps to go. Do you just try and see if you can get by him, or do you try and force something?
If the opportunity's there, you always take it to pass. I mean, granted, of course, play it smart. We're 2 minutes away from the race finish, and you're potentially looking at a P3 finish or a P6, P8, depending on how many people catch up, right?
Right.
So, and it looks like Sansano. Go ahead, Dave.
Probably not worth it to try and enforce something. Nothing wrong with a P3 finish here.
Yeah.
Especially, Yi's currently the point leader so far from the first race that we had last week. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to ruin that.
No, not at all. Welcome in, Alloy. We're currently on board with Adrian Bourdon, who is in the Macca, following behind Simon Salomon. Another battle. Ooh, getting a bit squirrely. And he keeps it. That was close.
Beautiful save.
Great save.
That was one of the sections that Sean pointed out specifically after Hell's Corners. There's a bit of a bump at the end of that curb.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy to unsettle the car there. Oh, man, we got to go back to Taylor Clark. Did not pay attention to what was coming down the track and caused a McLaren to run into him, and it was a huge collision.
It looks like he's still off track there in the background as we saw car 575. It's fortunate. It looks like he's going to dip into the pits, and that's where he will end his race.
Oh yeah, it was pretty bad. It's one of those, not a safe rejoin at all.
Yeah, not at all. James Morris catching a ooh, bit of contact here going into the cutting.
That looked a little weird. Like, I don't know if he just lost control of the car there.
I don't know if that's going to be on Zach or Tatis. Landry's going across the finish line. Currently, this battle, though, I'm very curious to see if Zach is going to catch some penalties for collision there, or if it's going to be on Tatis.
Looks like we did just have a penalty come through for James Morris. 5-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 27.
Did you see the finish there for Ryan Yee? 700ths.
Oh, so close. I mean, that was a hell of a battle the last couple laps there.
Absolutely. On board with Grant Cleansing here, crossing line for P8. Thomas Varnes will take 9. Giordano. Go ahead.
Like I said, Taylor Clark received a 15-second penalty for an unsafe rejoin on lap 28.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, Giordano is going to cross the line for P10. Excellent race by him today. Had some fantastic battles. So Lucas will take 12. Snell Train 11. Henri Bond will take 13 provisionally, but that will likely change up. Patterson and Spangler will move up to 13-14, if my math plays correctly. And then there will be a bit of a shuffle between Morris and Johnson, between 6 and 7. But other than that, looks like Dario Maltadini will take the top AM spot at P23. Best lap today was a 2:04.5. But that essentially wraps up our evening here at Bathurst for North America Red.
Bad race.
Not
pretty clean. Pretty clean. No rain.
It was dry.
A hell of a drive from Marc-Antoine Landry. And really nice battles with Yee and Sansano there. That was really fun to watch.
Yeah, no, that was excellent there at the end to view. So good on you guys for that. And we're just waiting for the race to wrap up right now. See if we can go on board with File. I don't know that he'll have enough time to cross the finish line. Nope.
Session has ended.
Take a look at the timetables and we'll wrap this up.
Green light, give it all you can.
All right, amateurs for the race. Maltadini, File, and Levine, 1, 2, and 3. Pro-Am, Bourdon, Morris, and Cleansing. And then overall, once again, Landry, Sansano, and Yee. So a bit of a shake-up to the standings. We'll have to see how that changes here in a few weeks. And like we said, we do have Zolder coming up 2 weeks from now. Next week, we'll be off for the Sprint Series as the 9 hours of Kailami is here. So enjoy that. Definitely hop in the stream.
Ought to be fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Different beast with the endurance racing.
Yeah, I mean, we've only dipped our toe in a 3-hour endurance. Could you imagine doing a 9-hour?
So it's essentially times, what, 3 of what we did?
Yeah, times 3. You have to really watch those track limits.
Yeah, no kidding. Alrighty, guys. Well, this is Ryan, otherwise known as Big Smelly, and Dave signing off. Thank you for tuning in, guys, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks.
See you guys later. Have a good night.